All right, historians, so we're going to start analyzing a document using the SOC analysis. So let's start with, on the left here, we have the actual analysis sheet. And then on the right, you'll see our first text. So starting with our S for source, a lot of these questions are the same questions you would find when analyzing an artifact, such as when was it written? Who wrote it? What kind of document is it? Those things you can probably find at either the top of the document, so there's usually like a little introduction. So here I see it says Jared Diamond. He's a professor and he's the author. It comes from his book, Germs, Guns, and Steel. And then I look for more information on when, and it even says here at the bottom, source, and it tells me the date that it was published. So these kinds of just looking around in the corners or the top of the pages can help you find, the who, what, when, where, why kind of answers. So I filled those in on my paper, and now these last two questions are a little bit different. The one that says, who was it written for? I want you to check for bias at this point because sometimes authors have a specific audience that they're trying to persuade to do or think something, and that may reveal a bias that they have. In this instance, I don't have evidence of that yet, so I just wrote it's for the general public because all I know at this point is that it's a book. The last question's asking, why do you think this document was written? And this is another opportunity to look for bias because sometimes if the author gains something by writing the document, then that might reveal some bias and it may make us not really trust the source as much. For example, with this text, knowing that it's coming from his book, he gains by selling copies of the book. He makes money off of it. So that's just something to think about when we're thinking about whether or not we trust this source completely. We want to keep that in mind.